One of the most important and powerful facts is expressed in the following statement by William James, who was one of the wisest men America has produced. The greatest discovery of my generation, he said, is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. You can think your way to failure, and you can think your way to success. You can think your way to unhappiness. You can also think your way to happiness. The world in which you live is not primarily determined by outward conditions, but by the thoughts that habitually occupy your mind. Remember the wise words of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "A man's life is what his thoughts make of it." Ralph Waldo Emerson declared, "A man is what he thinks about all day long." A famous psychologist tells us, "There is a deep tendency in human nature to become precisely like that which you habitually imagine yourself to be." Thoughts are things. They actually possess dynamic power. Think positively, and you will set in motion positive forces which will bring positive results. On the contrary, think negative thoughts, and you create around yourself an atmosphere propitious to the development of negative results. To change your circumstances, think positively. Do not passively accept unsatisfactory circumstances, but form a picture in your mind of circumstances as they should be. That is an astonishing law of prosperity and success. Let me tell you about a husband and wife, longtime friends of mine. For years, Jim, the husband, worked hard until finally he was in line for the presidency of his firm. There was no apparent reason why his ambition should not be realized, for by ability and experience he was qualified. However, when the appointment of a new president was made, he was bypassed. A man was brought in from the outside to fill the post. I arrived in his city just after the blow had fallen. The wife, Mary, was in an especially vindictive state of mind. At dinner, she bitterly outlined all that she would like to tell them. The intense disappointment, humiliation, frustration, focused in a burning anger which she poured out to her husband and to me. Jim, on the contrary, was quiet. Obviously hurt, disappointed, and bewildered, still he took it courageously. Mary wanted him to resign immediately. She urged him to tell them off and tell them plenty and then quit. He seemed disinclined to take this action, saying perhaps it was for the best, that he would go along with the new man and help him in any way he could. The wife then asked me what I would do. I told her that I would, like herself, undoubtedly feel disappointed and hurt, but that I would try not to allow hate to creep in. For animosity not only corrodes the soul, but disorganizes thought processes as well. I suggested that what we needed was divine guidance, a wisdom beyond ourselves in this problem. There was such an emotional content in the problem that we might possibly be incapable of thinking the matter through objectively and rationally. I suggested, therefore, that we have a few minutes of quietness, that we sit quietly in an attitude of fellowship. It was not easy for the wife to accommodate herself to the mood suggested, but basically she was an intelligent person and she joined in the plan. Presently, after a few quiet minutes, I offered a prayer. I requested peace of mind for Jim and Mary, and went a step further and even asked God's blessing upon the new appointee. I also prayed that Jim would be able to fit into the new administration and give effective service. After the prayer, with a sigh, the wife said, "Yes, I guess that's the way to do it. When I knew you were coming to dinner, I feared that you would tell us to take a Christian position on this. Frankly, I didn't feel like doing that. I was boiling inwardly. But of course, I realize that the right answer to this problem is to be found through that approach. I will try it faithfully, as difficult as it may be." She smiled wanly, but the animus was gone. Gradually, They became fairly contented under the new arrangement. They were able to overcome their disappointment and ill will. Jim even confided to me that he liked the new president. He told me that he often called him in for consultation and seemed to lean on him. They went to the fullest extent to be cooperative. 2 years passed. I arrived in their city one day and telephoned them. "Oh, I'm so excited I can hardly speak," Mary said. I commented that that was an unusual state for her. Ignoring this remark, she cried, "Oh, the most wonderful thing has happened. Mr. So-and-so, naming the president, has been selected by another company at a big promotion for a special job which will take him out of our organization into a much better position." And she posed the question, guess what? Jim has been notified that he is now president of this company. Come over right away and let the three of us give thanks together. Later, Jim said, "I'm beginning to realize that Christianity isn't theoretical after all. We have solved a problem according to well-defined, spiritually scientific principles. I shudder to think," he said, "of the terrible mistake we would have made had we not gone at this problem according to the formula of right thinking and positive thinking. It's a very great law in problem solving. Think right and things go right."